Sorry. Okay.
Hello, if you're just joining us.
Okay, so we.
For the
Yes,
recording, do you want to reiterate what the date is and what the meeting is?
today is the executive meeting of LOCAC. It is January 16th at approximately 7:10. The meeting has been ongoing for 10 minutes.
All right. And we've currently discussed going with this main mission statement, reordering this to look like this.
For core values,
And
we will be using Robert's rules as guidelines.
very likely, we skipped this for now, and now we are here.
All right. When I think with this one, Tom, just bring it back down so people can see above the blue line.
Thank you.
So in order to embody transparency, I think we really went over this a lot. Communication guidelines, public policies and procedures will be public, which they've always been. They're on our website. Minutes will be public and follow established protocols. Meetings are recorded. Develop steps to ensure people are comfortable, offer ways to communicate via email, comment box, notes, check in during meetings to make sure people feel their voices are being heard, everyone being heard. Patrick, just go ahead and speak versus your hand up, because we're concentrating on the screen.
Right. Just these are ideas on how to implement your transparency comments. You and decide on a few. What does that mean? You and decide?
Well, she was just doing her little notes to us. This is what we talked about at the meeting that you missed.
Well,
Probably
that,
should
the last
say
sentence just doesn't make sense.
You can decide.
Thank you.
Yeah, those are just her notes for us. Everybody okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go ahead and move on.
All right. What is there we are.
Right there. This was a big one. When can I speak as a LOCAC member, state my title, or write the below probably merits a final discussion and vote to ensure everyone's on the same page. So if everybody could read this and
Can we make it bigger? Can you blow it up a little?
Thank you.
Best way to do it, Tom, is that, well, that works too, but your screen's like so long, and I have a screen like that too, that if you like shrink it down and resize it, it'll.
Let me just
He's got to reshare it differently. I know exactly what.
Okay.
share screen 1 this time. How's that?
good.
Yeah.
Sorry, I
well,
was
it's
using my
definitely
fancy
better.
ultra wide.
So
Okay.
hopefully everyone has kind of reviewed all of this stuff that was in our links before tonight's meeting. So does anyone have a concern or a change? We spent a lot of time on this with the strategic planning meeting.
The 2 bullet points at the very bottom, those are going to be included, correct?
No, those were just reminders of what we talked about at the strategic planning meeting.
Okay,
So,
that's
yeah,
just, that's great
those-
information.
Yeah, it's great information, but those will be removed. But that was for tonight to make sure that everyone kind of remembered how we were
Actually-
doing the discussion.
I feel like it needs to be included, and it probably needs to be reworked, because again, I
Okay,
know this is sort of my thing, and I don't really care, but like, I mean, obviously it was about me originally, and that's why I asked for clarification on it. But I just don't know. I just felt like during the conversation, it was just like, well, and I'm like, I just didn't feel like it got fleshed out enough, but that's just me. And if everybody else cares, it's fine.
I agree that they're good notes. The first bullet point, I think, is fine the way it is. The second bullet point, I would take out the first sentence and just start with, ask yourself, has the council talked about this issue? Is it related to the work we do? I think both of those points are valid and are good reminders.
so just leave it as a like a parenthesis on the bottom?
No,
As a
she's
note?
saying put it in the second bullet point in number 1.
Yeah, put in number
Okay.
1 and put in number 2. Yeah, exactly what you've done, Tom. I would just add those in because it's like, this is what we mean when you say doing outreach, and this is when it's okay. I
Okay.
think it's helpful, especially if you're new. It helps sort of put parameters around it.
So I think what the best option would be is to using what we're discussing here. The bylaws committee will then put a draft of the amendment into the bylaws that will then we can vote on all at once. How does that sound?
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
So we're going very fast for this, but I still want you to hold a final vote to enshrine
Thank you.
it
Because like
properly.
I still have I think I just need to personally research that second bullet point, because I just feel like I think about like Tom and what he wants to do and like what people do. And I'm just like, I got to figure this out so y'all don't. It's just a weird, I don't know.
I understand because yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, I know you do. I'm like, I got to figure it out because I know the rest of y'all aren't convinced. I'm just trying to figure that out. And it's not really like a priority for me. So I also don't want to fight too hard. So.
Okay, I'm confused. What is your
Yeah, me
concern,
too.
Kristen?
So are we
Can you give
not,
me an example?
Well, hang on a minute. I think there's multiple things going on. Like one, we're just saying, why don't we just move this to bylaws discussion? Because it's more of a bylaw thing than it is a strategic plan.
But still, like the question can be posed now.
No, I know. I'm just saying that was one line of the conversation because I think Trish might be asking that part, and then Deborah was asking more about the content. Am I right? Or one or the other?
no, I'm just asking for these bottom 2 bullets. Do we have agreement that we keep them? We just move their location?
Think so. Move it to 2. Keep the 2 bullets, but put it under 2.
Okay.
All
I mean, we can clean it up later. Don't worry about that.
right.
I kind of liked it where it was, but anyway, those are details. What I wanted to know, Kristen, is you seem to have a question about putting in, has the council talked about this issue as related to the work we do? Is there concern about that?
Well, no, I mean, the original conversation, right, was about like whether or not, and we used our example of me doing the letter where it says like, I am a LOCAC member when I put that in. And it gives weight to the argument, but it also is like, lets people know in what context I come from or whatever. And then people are like, well, you can't do that, right? So the problem for me is that I'm like, but it's pretty regular to do that in the right context. And the ones I was trying to give you guys, it never worked. And then I don't even know why it got brought up, but I had a meeting with, remember I said I was going to, Deborah, I was going to meet with the senator's aide, and he happened to come up with something. He said something about that too. And it still bothers me where I'm like, there's something, if we're going to formalize it and have a clearer thing, I feel like I need to argue better for it, but I don't know. I don't have I haven't prioritized it is what I was trying to say. So before it gets codified, I'd love it if we had a little section where I could just pull
Well,
it
I
up.
think this is a good time to discuss it.
Yeah.
I actually had a similar, well, actually it wasn't exactly similar, but I was speaking at a Basin Management Committee meeting and apparently made a comment, introduced myself as a LOCAC member. And so it was pointed out to me that I was perhaps speaking for myself and not for LOCAC. So it's very easy to do. I think in your situation, when you were signing the letter, and this is something I think we want to discuss, is that you could have put Kristen Horowitz, business owner, member of LOCAC, blah, blah, list a bunch of
Yes,
other
like a resume.
things.
Yeah.
Would that be okay or not?
Right. And that's where I'm getting, thank you. I think that's what it is. It's like if I was speaking at something and I was like the business owner, remember, like it is a resume. And I think we talked about that, but it was like in a list of stuff. And then I'm just like, how do you caught up? That's what I'm just saying is we had these ideas. It wasn't fully written out, but I have a hard time with the paperwork of this right now, if that makes sense. And it is my fault because I didn't come prepared.
I think-
That's all right,
I
but I
think
think we
that-
should talk about it. Is it okay for Kristen to write a letter and say, these are all the things that I represent. I'm a mom. I'm a, I'm a business owner. I'm a member of LOCAC. Would that not be okay for her to do that?
I think it's perfectly fine to do that.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying.
Pretty factual.
Can you
Yeah,
guys do me a
exactly fine.
favor? I'm putting it into my like calendar thingy that I'll make sure that I'll do some research and find some kind of advocation, because I understand everybody's opposal to that kind of stuff too. And once
I
again,
don't
it's
think
really
you're
not
here.
about me. So like, just,
I know, but I don't think you're hearing anyone opposing you. I mean, from what we just said, I think everyone was in full
so that's like
agreement.
a full 180 of like the last conversations we've had.
Well, I
Well,
think it depends on what the letter is. I mean, if it's part of a truly a resume, then that to me is completely different. A resume, I mean, that's not about your personal gain. But if it's on a letter advocating for, let's just say, a political candidate or
Right,
or an
right.
issue, I
Another
think
story.
there is a concern. So
Right, so
resume,
that's why I'd
yeah,
like to-
nobody cares.
But like what she was saying is like the issue is that what if I'm sorry, it's not me. Can we use like Bob Jones? Because it's not about me.
Sure,
Bob
Bob.
Jones, the bike trail. What if Bob Jones wanted to write bike trail namey, business owner, LOCAC member? That's resume. And that's where the issue is. Go, Tom. Sorry.
What is the term that politicians use for that 3-word thing when on the ballot? When you see like so and so teacher blank blank. What is that
Byline or
called?
something like that. I don't know. I'd have to look that up. I don't know.
Well,
But you would have
it's
to
your,
do
it's your, generally it's their occupation.
Yeah, but you can put anything you want on there. But like it has an official name and I can't remember what it's called. And I've looked this up, but I don't remember. But would that be allowed?
So can we
Like
just
the
table
equivalent
it
of that.
so that I can bring some kind of advocacy for it? Because otherwise it's just weird feeling discussion. I'd rather have something clear that we can easily just talk about and move forward. Is that
Okay.
okay? Cool.
I
Okay,
like
we
that.
will- We will table this one slide, so we won't finish the strat plan tonight. Okay,
Well, I don't think this should be part of the strat plan. This isn't strategy. This is like possibly bylaws or guidelines or something, but it's not strategy. It just got attached to it because it was the issues we were having and she was facilitating it.
I mean, well, anyway.
My concern, and then I can leave it alone. My concern is we can come up with 14,000 different examples of when to do it and when to not, or we can just do an easy, we're not doing it. We're not using it. So I'm happy to have the discussion. I just don't want to waste time on stuff like that.
Okay.
okay, can we go down to our goals, Tom? I think that's next.
Yes. Up here it is.
You missed one. There.
Oh, did I?
No, you're good. You're good.
Right
We
here?
have, there's a goal 1 before that. But there is nothing blue on that one. Okay. Goal 2, timeline, complete with vote and inclusion. When are we going to have this done? Which is taking minutes, appropriate use of Google group emails, advocating for LOCAC. Do we have to have what we were just discussing done before we have clear protocols for internal communication, or can we just
Separate
look
thing.
at
I think it's separate.
this one is separate?
I think so.
Okay, that's how I take it, but just to make sure. So I think the only, does the group agree with what is said here?
May I ask how many committees take minutes?
Every committee should.
Tree and landscape does.
I take recorded minutes. My
So
minutes are recorded.
would the recorded minutes be the same as written minutes as far as protocol?
Yep.
Okay.
So I think that taking minutes, what we had talked about in here is that we were going to have a template for what the minutes are going to look like. So we need a group together to do that. Appropriate use of Google, that's the next slide. Okay, I think we go to the next slides and then we come up with a date that all of this will be done. So here's our guidelines for group mail.
What might be a good idea. Sorry if I'm sidetracking this.
That's fine.
Because these are a lot of things to discuss. we can take these one at a time in future executive business meetings. Like
I
I
agree with
still like
that.
going everything in this document, but we keep this PowerPoint and like pick one or however much we may have time for an executive meeting and to really flesh that out, these
Well,
ideas.
really, we only have 2 goals, right?
We have goal 4, goal 5,
Oh.
goal. We
Yeah,
have lots.
those were
Okay, we
like,
have 5
those were like long-term goals over the period of a year. I don't think
So-
there's anything to like.
But
do
I
about
think
these
one of the things that we need to do is we need to see who's going to work on each of these and what timeline do they have to get it finished.
Can we do that for another meeting and just instead of trying to set this all up, we just all agree to the strategic plan? Because then we have to like then move it to the public to let them know and all that.
Well, these meetings are public.
No, I know that, but isn't that supposed to be something we're supposed to, didn't we have a whole plan where we were gonna bring it forward?
Yeah,
next-
we're supposed to bring this to the LoCac meeting
So
next.
we don't have to have the solutions yet. We're just showing supporting goal 1. These are the things that we identified as goals for the next coming year on.
Okay.
So as long as everyone agrees with the goals in general, that's all the pieces, I think.
Okay, let's
see.
review the goals.
Yeah, so the first goal. And I think this one we've already changed, that it doesn't have to be monthly.
How about,
Well, I thought you were
Quarterly?
gonna have a monthly meeting, but then we could cancel.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I think. Because I think for a while we're gonna want monthly meetings to flesh out all of our ideas.
Okay.
Do you want to use the word schedule instead of hold?
Yeah, I like schedule.
excellent.
There we go.
Okay. All right, let's go down to the second one, clear protocols for internal communication.
And so that would be like when Patrick asked, does video count? That would be the first bullet point. Does video count? And we have a clear protocol. Yes, it does with these. I think so.
Okay, the third goal.
Supporting goal, what
Okay,
the
no, let's
we
go
go.
back up to supporting okay, so we'll need to have somebody take on this one, which is coming up with a template for minutes.
Speaking of minutes, since I'm screen sharing, I can't take minutes for all of this right now, and I apologize.
Don't worry about it. I have some notes here, and then
You're talking about written minutes, a protocol for written minutes.
no, Tom
Or
was just
video,
saying
Or, yeah.
No,
whatever.
I'm talking about this protocol. What are transparent minutes? What is the protocol? Develop a protocol for minute taking to share with council for vote. So we're talking about written minutes.
we're talking about written minutes here.
Got it. Okay.
Let's clarify it then if that, hold up. Why are we talking about written minutes if we're talking about video minutes? So because Deborah says she does recording.
I
There's
do
no,
recorded minutes. I
right,
don't
so
know the
there's-
secretary.
right, so there's no division right now that says that this is about written versus video. And what I'm trying to say is that's the kind of stuff that we do in these supporting goals. We sit down and talk about it. So Deborah does videos because she's right. She's not going to spend a bunch of time also taking minutes, right? So she's like, here,
Okay.
recorded. Great, cool. Is that appropriate? Well, that would be what goal 2 says is, do we all agree with that? And then moving, and do we agree with written? Then what does that protocol look like? That's what this is. It's not deciding it again, not deciding today. It's just saying, so don't assume it's written unless we're literally right now deciding no videos because it doesn't say it anywhere else.
I'd like to just throw something in also. I don't take minutes during the land use meeting. I look at the video afterwards and I go take minutes off the video.
That's still taking minutes. I think that's,
Right, but it's not,
Yeah.
it's not like you're having to take minutes while the meeting is going on.
oh,
Yeah,
gotcha.
but if you have like 2 hours extra versus not, those are all things that depends on like, I couldn't do that. So
Okay, all right,
think
let's
we
go to the next one.
I just want to make one comment about the minutes. The written minutes apparently is important to some people. It certainly is important for the general council meeting, and it seems to be important for the land use meeting. I don't know, I've never had a complaint about transportation having, not having written minutes. My meetings don't go that long, number one, they're about an hour or less. And number two, the people who are involved are already there. So I rarely have people who need to go and see the minutes, and when they do, they listen to the recording. So I don't think we need to make a rule that's the same for every committee. I think we need to be more flexible.
I think that's an excellent point, and that would be how I see it too, so.
Okay, and the way I would look at it is that land use and LoCac have secretaries, and we need minutes for those. In the past, the secretaries have written their own minutes, and I think that's just the way it should be. You know,
Can we again, please just table this? Because these are the things that this literal goal would be a meeting where we all talk about it and figure it out.
Right.
It's not
Okay.
this right now. So everyone's being heard, and like, I think this, but the point is we have to talk about this video written, and whether it should be, Tom, can you make a note, whether it should be policy wide or allow committees to make decisions?
Yeah, just up for discussion.
Yes. Because I just don't want, I feel like everybody's like, oh my God, we're going to approve something and I don't agree. That's what I'm trying to say with mine is like, can we just like chill on the actual policy part? It's not important. Like, can we agree that we need to figure that out? That's all I think this is.
Okay, so
Let's go to
moving
the
forward,
next.
instead of discussing this, is this just to say yes or no? Is this a goal that we agree with and we can work on it later?
Yes, that's what we need to decide.
Yes.
The
Right,
group email, yes, we need to
Yeah.
talk.
All right, any objections? All right, next. Sorry if I'm like
No,
overstepping.
that's
like,
good.
supporting guidelines advocacy. Any objections to this as a goal? All right.
Wait a minute, to document as vehicle for advocacy, use vacation, use existing, advocate on the issue. What is the process? How to establish subject? Okay, so this is kind of an interesting one, and I just want to put in your mind the situation that we have right now down at Vista Court, where we have people who've been impacted by the flood, the loss of the levee. And so this is a situation where we might want to advocate for something. And if so, how would we fit it within these guidelines? Does it fit? And if it doesn't fit, how would we change the guidelines or work with the guidelines to
I
make
think
sure?
we've got it under number 3 bullet there.
Mm.
Establish the subgroup for an issue, if not through existing.
So you would
Need a
say,
new one
Jen,
to
let's
deal
set
with
up
the
a
specific
special
issue.
committee to help
Mhm.
advocate for the people impacted by the flood. Okay.
Right.
All right. I just want to make sure that we're creating something that actually works in real life.
well, then do the committees make the decisions, or does LoCac make the decision?
It would be coming through it would come to LoCac after the committee works on it.
Okay, because we definitely, I think, need to advocate for the people of the community, and that's what we're here for, I think. And especially in a situation like what Deborah's speaking about.
All
So
right,
we would create a committee, a group to report back on the situation and advise us on how we might advocate for the people who've been impacted. Is that what I'm hearing?
that's what you're hearing.
Okay. Sounds good to me.
Okay,
Yep.
so the next one is guidelines for newsletter website. Do we agree with this one?
Yeah, yeah. Any objections?
No.
All right.
Goal 3, find out the status of HCP. I already did that. I talked to Fish and Wildlife. I have their point of contact,
What's HCP again?
Habitat Conservation Program
Plan.
Plan.
It's the thing that allows us to build a sidewalk when they find a snail. The
Or-
Habitat Conservation Plan says, if you do this, then you have to do this offset over here. That's what the plan does,
All right.
and we don't have one.
And you
Hmm.
know, for this one, I don't think it needs to be a goal. I mean, we've already, well, yeah, it could stay a goal, but we already know the status is that it's never even left the planning department after 3, 4, 5 years. It has not even gone to the Board of Supervisors yet.
All right, so do we want to keep it a goal or not?
Yes,
I
All
think
right.
it's
We wanna
so important.
advocate.
Yeah,
Yep,
Yeah.
leave it.
because we're gonna advocate for it.
there you go.
I think you've already got the status, the who,
Yep,
All
I
right.
did that
chairman of the
already.
LoCAC has found out the status.
All right, whoops. Any objections?
Nope,
Who's leading the effort? Put Trish there.
I am.
She's the one who's leading the effort.
Chairman of LoCAC.
There you go.
Trish, currently, I like that. Thank you.
That's good. That's good. That's good.
She's not locked in.
I'm only locked in until May. Okay, number 4, increase
Trish.
participation and awareness of LoCAC by the community. Do we all agree with this?
Sure.
Yes.
Yes.
An outreach committee for that purpose, right?
Fourth
Exactly.
Wednesday, right?
Yep.
Coming up.
Okay, do we have a goal 5?
We do.
Wednesdays.
Wait, yeah.
I'm just gonna accept that as one of the co-chairs of that committee. We're
Yep.
holding, we're holding it on fourth Wednesdays. Hope to see you there.
Okay, goal 5, take a position on water supply in Los Osos.
I disagree with this one. I don't think this is a goal that we should be taking.
Okay, can we have a vote on this one? Keep it or
Well,
dump
let
it?
me explain my position and then if there's someone who wants to oppose me, then they could explain their position. The reason I don't think we should take a position on the water supply is number one, the county and the coastal commission are
Deborah?
already negotiating on this issue. Number two, we have a consultant who's been hired who is supposed to come up with the Title 19 plan. And when those two things happen, then we can take a position on the water supply in Los Osos. But without that information and without the county and the coastal commission taking a position, how is it that an advisory group such as LoCAC could take a position?
I can
Based
answer,
on
that.
what?
I can answer that for you.
Hold on.
Hold on, we're
Just-
gonna get into water
Okay,
supply.
okay, we're not gonna do a whole water discussion.
We can,
Go
but
ahead.
Agree with Deborah on this one.
if we were to want to discuss this further, that's technically, if we're gonna go through Robert's rules, we have to move it first and then it has to be seconded. That signifies that there is enough interest to discuss it fully, and then we can discuss it fully. So I'm not the chair, so, but like, if I were chairing, that's how I would want to go if we want to discuss this.
I'm just saying this, that I don't agree that this is a goal. It's listed as goal number 5. I don't agree that this should be listed as a goal. Not
So-
saying it shouldn't be something discussed on LoCAC. I just don't think this should be a goal.
Specifically,
Okay, so-
discussion of this should be a goal or not. If we want to remove it,
Right.
should we make a motion?
No.
Wait.
No, I'm
pause.
not talking
Everybody-
about discussion. I want to be clear. We can discuss it. We can have all kinds of discussion. I don't think we should have a goal to take a position.
Can we take a pause on this and change the heading from take a position to be informed and lead on water supply? Because it's that throws off everything. If you look at the timeline, year 1 is research and inform. It's literally what Deborah and like everybody else is doing. Year 2 or whatever that is exactly how you described it, which is now once we find out, then we can. So it wasn't supposed to be take a position like arbitrarily. It was supposed to
Right.
be
Research.
help the community and like get the voice of the community. This is from that conversation. Again, no dog in the fight, but year 2 would be like, once you got all that stuff, exactly like you're saying, that's what it is. So I think the headline is what really triggered it. Because if you look at the rest of it, it was more about hosting experts, including pros and cons. It's supposed
Oh,
to
be informed. It's not be involved. It's be informed.
yes,
And then,
and take leadership.
On
Take
water
leadership
supply.
yeah. I mean, it's
And
literally codifying
what?
what you do, Deborah.
and what is also needs to be changed, that research, that we're going to research water issues and sustainability and diversifying the water supply, so we can lead on that situation. But again, I think taking a position is not where we need to be today.
So
We need to
this
be-
is supposed to be a long-term goal, but it's
Long-term
just a-
goal.
Because like down at the bottom where it says timeline, it's like year 2 or whatever, but we don't have to have it year 1, year 2. It just should be steps, research and inform, take a position when information is available to, or whatever it is. But if you still do want to take a position, which I hear you saying you do, it's just not this year. And that wasn't what this is. This is strategy for like year
My
1 through
position
5.
is a non-position.
Yeah, but you
Right?
keep saying that's not true though, because you keep saying, oh yeah, we should do all this stuff. And then when all these reports come through, then we should, I literally heard you say we should take a position. So do you think we should?
Yes, that is true. Once
Okay.
Title 19 and once the Coastal Commission and the county, then I think we
Right.
can be informed to take a position. Right now, I don't think it's possible for us to take a position.
I
Right.
think
That's my
any,
opinion.
I think any place where it says take a position, I'm not comfortable with that. I
Neither.
would say that we would make a decision based on the let me say this, it's not what to write in, but based on the information that we glean, then we'll determine if we're going to take a position.
Perfect.
I don't know if it's really our place to take a position.
So everybody has been
At any
talking.
point.
I'd like to just say very quickly on here. Coastal Commission has already stated in many different places their position. The State Water Board has said that we are in extreme drought and an overdraft. And the county has given us a level 3 severity of overdraft. So 3 agencies, two state and 1 county agency has told us that we do not have a lot of water in our basin right now. There is no proof to show otherwise. So I don't think when you say we don't have anything to be based on, yes, we do. We already have Coastal Commission, the regional water, the county regional water board too, the county and state
but-
water.
I think the group has said that we want to be informed. It can we get agreement that we want to be informed for goal 5?
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to weigh in on this, and I think the reason why I think this is important is because this is an overriding issue for Los Osos. So we need to dig into it, understand it, and advocate for it at the appropriate time. So you don't have to take a position to want to talk about water. And I just think it's important at the LOCAC level to look into the situation and to come to some conclusion when it's appropriate.
I agree with you, John, and I also feel like we need to understand the positions that are being taken by the Coastal Commission, the Regional Water Board, understand the position that the Basin Management Committee is taking, and understand the position that the county is taking, because they're not all the same. And so in my estimation, I think we need to stay neutral on this until we understand better what's going to happen.
Can we get a motion on this?
I move to ask the Water Information Committee, or whatever we named it, to write more specifically what our goal regarding water should be.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Wait,
All right.
discussion
Thank you.
with the motion.
Well,
Sorry.
First of where it says who, it says ad hoc water committee, but we've already changed the name that name's already.
Yeah,
been
we
changed.
will change that.
What did we
we will
change it
change
to?
I'm not sure we actually changed it.
I
We
think we
did.
talked about it.
I don't think it
Yeah,
got
we did.
approved.
It has not been approved yet.
Really? Let me check.
No, I think there was some pushback on that and it got left alone.
And
I-
who's
I
on that
agree.
committee? Briefly?
The ad hoc
Larry-
water committee.
Larry Rayo and Deborah Howe.
Oh,
and
gotcha. I knew
We
that.
talked about
Thanks.
doing a natural resources
Oh.
committee, and then it was like,
Where is my
Water
freaking-
Information Committee or something. But if you
Yeah.
look in our policies and procedures in our bylaws, it says absolutely nothing in there about ad hoc committees.
no, it's a special committee.
The
Well,
special
maybe-
committee, and they're called special committees.
Okay, special committees have different rules than other committees. But if you look at that, and let's just talk about that at another time.
Okay,
Going over it right now, because it's very clear in our policies and procedures and bylaws.
okay.
Look at what in our goal 5, the first statement there. Is
Well,
LoCac will research
be
water issues.
informed, that sounds good. Be
LoCac
informed,
will
Mark.
use information available from agencies whose responsibility is to inform us on these. Something to that effect.
Yeah, so we
We're
will
not gonna
have,
do the research.
no, we will have the ad hoc committee work on goal 5 and get that revised.
I swear we voted on the names. Anyway, but yeah, I'm just
Well, I
referring
don't,
to.
I can't say for certain how it ended up, but
I don't think we did change it.
Yeah. I
Well,
don't think we
anyway.
changed it. Okay, can we see if there's anything left in the SP that we need to look at?
We have a
tonight?
motion on the floor. I'm sorry.
And we all voted,
Did
and it
we
was
though?
unanimous.
I don't think we did. I didn't vote.
I didn't-
Oh, I said, raise your hand, and I think you were looking for the others. So everyone,
Oh,
raise your
goodness.
hand to vote on goal 5 with
No.
the motion.
What are we voting again?
The motion
5
that
is
was
be informed.
taken, that the ad hoc committee will rework goal 5.
Okay, yes, that is the
We're just
motion.
gonna turn the whole 5 over. And then I'll,
Correct.
Mhm.
okay, I'm for that.
All in
Whatever.
favor?
Committee.
Right.
Any opposed? Okay, all right.
Sorry, that was a whole ordeal. I'm
okay.
trying to get a little more uppity and strict about Robert's rules.
That's
Okay.
good. That's, we.
Boundary setting is
Taking us.
good. Yes.
It's good.
I thought we decided on it being the water report committee.
You
That's
did.
Yes, I think that's right. Thank you, Larry. I think
That
it's
was
the
the
water
same.
report.
Water report.
All right.
And we'll bring that up at LoCac.
Okay.
Just to do it officially, if it wasn't done last month. Okay, I think that is it for strategic plan. I think we'll make these changes.
Yes, yes, it was. Sorry. We did move motion second and pass to rename it the Water Report Committee.
Wow.
Thank you.
Good.
Thank you, Secretary.
Wow, that was very impressive.
That is why, Kristen, I put the votes at the top.
Good job. Good job.
All right,
Okay.
cool.
All right, so we're all done with this for tonight.
Cool. Yay.
Cool.
Next.
All right.
Oh,
And
Thank
I
you
think
all.
we already discussed number 2, that we're going to need to discuss how we're going to be engaged when there's a natural disaster. Then approve the PMPs and the bylaws. I think due to, and I don't know, I've got the page of all of our changes. Do we want to go with that and then add Robert's rules to it and then this strategic plan, or do you want me to make all of those changes again, put them in the plan, resend them out, and then we can vote on them at our next meeting,
We're talking about policies and procedures now.
and the bylaws?
Yeah, why don't you just go ahead and make the changes, send them back out, and then we can.
Will people actually read them?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
If I have access to them.
Before,
What we do.
Highlight the changes in blue or some other color, just so people know these were the added changes in it.
Yeah.
Well, they're
that-
always
that-
on the
that's-
comment side.
You can't see the comments if you're not, like right now I clicked on the link and I have to like request access to do it. So.
what? I had everyone in the thing can have viewing access.
Oh, you know, you would have mine as like that, Kristen, like my one I use for this, and I'm Google. So maybe that's why.
Anyone with the link?
But you actually need to make them commenters, not editors, because. you can-
Oh, okay. That's
Okay.
no, that's not a good
Okay.
idea.
No,
All right,
you
so
want comments.
So does
So
that leave
I
time
will
for us to talk about the other,
what other?
the advocacy? What you were, I thought what you just mentioned about how we're going to advocate?
Yeah, we have 10 minutes. We can talk about how we want to advocate for our community during a disaster like we just had. Any ideas from the group?
It seems to me like the special committee, people who have a special interest in whatever comes up. We always have those people. We could some support us committee to investigate and report back and let us know what can be done.
Okay, just like we had on the strategic plan.
Well, like we did on the homeless issue.
Yeah, but in something like this that happens so fast and
It's
needs
quick.
a
Yeah,
quick response, you know, it
Yeah.
needs to be
we're not geared for
organized
quick
in such a
response.
way that you get immediate stuff going on it. And I don't know if that can happen through a committee. I'm not.
So can I ask that the thing that I feel like is like, I watched everything because I was also dealing with my own stuff, but it seems like support Los Osos really jumped up and just physically got there. I know that there's like legislators that aren't everything, everyone's involved. And sometimes like when stuff like this happens, it can be like, I want to help, but in reality, like you're kind of taking energy away from. So my implication is more like when someone asks for the help, or we can ask somebody who's at the epicenter of it, can we advocate? What do you need? Because like I got tagged in when they were doing the dig out and stuff like that, because everybody knows I have a big Buy Nothing group. They wanted me to share it out. And like that kind of stuff is good. And that's just my advocation, is I don't think we should necessarily get in there just so that we can show that we're preparing, unless we actually have a purpose that they need us for.
And I did reach out to Ron Munns,
Yeah.
and told him that we were, let us know how we could help with bodies, communication, or whatever was appropriate at the time.
So today in the news, there was video of Salud Carbajal showing up in Morro Bay and in Los Osos. It would have been good if LOCAC could have been there representing the community. If we had known that he was going to show up, we didn't. We could have probably found that out pretty easily. But the more that we can represent, the more powerful we will be as a council. And so how do we go about getting information and being timely? How do we get the information back to the community about what's going on? The Community Foundation has set up a disaster relief fund that if you can make a donation to them, but that doesn't necessarily mean that money is going to come to the Los Osos people. That's going to be spread out over the county. So these are things that I think we do need to form a committee. It doesn't have to be a big committee. It could be just a couple people.
Yeah.
We're going to dig into some of the details of this so that we can actually give practical information, and then reach out to Don Addis, Salud Carbajal, Senator
Gibson.
Webb, and let them know that, we're here advocating for our community.
I think the
Sense?
best way to do that is simply just making ourselves known to our community and what we do. Which is it's kind of a chicken and egg thing. How do we represent the community? By representing them. But joint outreach, we'll figure that out together.
Yeah, I do think it's a longer term project, and I do agree.
Yeah,
with
me
you
too.
that if there is a need for LOCAC to be involved, in the people that are interested in doing that can obviously.
We're not currently set up to respond.
No, we're not. And
No.
like,
Why do we
honestly, the
pretend we are?
CSD wasn't set up for that either. So, I think it's like, like when you're talking about like, how do we get Carbajal? Well, again, I've had like kind of a peek inside there, and the answer to that is be someone they want to have a photo with, and we're not there yet. So
Los Osos CSD had an emergency meeting on Tuesday, and I attended that. And now that I look back on that, it was basically, what are we going to do? And at that point, they announced that the legislators would be here. So that information was available.
Mhm.
And now that I think about it, I definitely could have sent out an email to all of you about it. I didn't really think it was at that point that big a deal, because they're there for the photo op for the
Yep.
most part. And the other thing that came through really strongly at that meeting, and I think we've all seen it a little bit, is that they struggled, and they are struggling with the lack of a point person. There is not a point person. There hasn't been a point person. And so they've had a lot of great help, but there's no, there's
Coordination. Yeah.
for once, there's not too many chiefs, there's,
Yeah.
so, I'm not sure the answer to anything that we're discussing tonight, but I did want to share that, attending those Los Osos CSD meetings, we will get that information. And I generally go anyway, just as a person, not a LOCAC member, just as a person. So maybe that's part of I'm happy to share whatever is discussed, and I probably should have sent it to all y'all. My apologies.
Honestly, that was some idea I had during the thing that I didn't bring up because it just didn't seem like the right time. But like, what if we had some people on a committee that were literally like the legislative representatives, that someone, they're going to go to CSD, they're going to go to Carbajall's town hall, they're going to, because, I know Deborah goes and sits on a ton of meetings too. And like, maybe we have a committee full of people who are literally just going to report back when they find that stuff out and if it's important, and then they know. So like, Andrea, you're like, I go to CSD anyway, like, hey, could you just let us know if anything interesting comes up? That'd be great.
And I think we talked a little bit about that too, and we talked about our outreach and getting our name out there. So I think we're kind of on it already.
Yeah.
I just didn't put 2 and 2 together.
It's because it wasn't your job yet.
I like what you're talking about, Kristen, because I'll tell you what, when the day comes, and the day will come, when we're talking about bringing that coastal trail into Los Osos, it's going to be really helpful to know these people and have actually a face-to-face conversation with them when they show up in our community. And they're going to say, oh yeah, I met you at that event or that, when that thing went down and you were there and you were representing, where it's like, yeah, now we're coming back to you because we have a very important project and we need your help. And so they're going to be more familiar. So, I'm in that world, you bet.
On that matter, Deborah, you and I went and met with Don Legg, and I thought that was a good meeting, just to go show up and put your face and present some of your issues and make them aware, because I think she is going to be an advocate for Los Osos, and we could, just get in there and rub shoulders with these people. The new supervisor, we should go in and meet them. Somebody should.
So listen, on this supervisor thing real quick, Debbie Arnold has made it very clear she will not be representing the new District 5. She is going to continue to represent the old District 5 because that's where she lives. So the old District 5 will have Debbie Arnold, and also it's now, I believe, in Bruce Gibson's district. So that area will actually have 2 supervisors. We will have 9, Morro Bay will have 0, Oceana will have 0, and so forth. So that's how it's going to play out on the supervisor level, but clearly Bruce is still involved here. And I think
Been
that's
clear that he continues to be ours.
Well, interestingly, Ortiz Legg was the first one out at Vista Court, far before Gibson came. So I guess I would always look at it as that we don't have 1, we don't have 2, we have 5. And I think that's how we have to always look at it, because 1 or 2 can't do anything anyway. It's always got to be 3. So
100%.
yeah.
You can have a friend, and like, that's one of the things that was funny with people talking about, like, we can't get anything done at supervisor. It's like, if they only represent 1, we are like not their problem. And there's just not enough people. So, if we can, if you have the legislative committee, and like, I have a relationship with one of the supervisors, somebody else get a relationship with one. Well, I'll just massage who we need to massage. It's real fun. It's like
Politics.
Ooh, I love it.
Well, we are out of time in 2 minutes. We don't have enough time to finish the last item.
I think a good start, though.
But
Yeah.
I think we made a start. I'm not sure if I would say a good start. I think we made a start. And then we will go ahead and have LOCAP next Thursday. Are we ready to bring the strategic plan to the community next Thursday?
I'm not sure we have to. Well,
I think we have to.
I mean, I don't think it's a question of have to. It's like setting those people that are participating and those who want to go forward. Like, ideally, we can make this spreadsheet a little prettier. Maybe I'll volunteer because as I said it. We can make the sheet prettier so that it's like a pretty little thing, and we just put it up on the website and everybody knows what our goals are, and then it's transparent. Hey, now we know what they're working on, and if the community doesn't want that or whatever, they have an opportunity to be like, no, actually we wanted this. And I think that's fine.
okay.
Which means I probably have to make it pretty because I said that.
You said it.
I did. Every time I say that, I have to volunteer, which is great, but I'll do it.
I'll help.
Thank you,
Trish,
Tom.
I have 2 quick comments before we leave. I want to make sure I get them in.
Okay, go for it.
Planting this Saturday at 9 o'clock at the community
Wonderful.
park, if you're available, and bring your shovels and your jeans. And we are having a tree and landscape meeting on Thursday.
I'm
Night.
not available, but I'm getting Rotary to fill in for me. So
Thanks, Tom. Great.
Ooh, that's better than
We'll take
mine.
pictures.
I'll be there as long as it's not raining.
It's not gonna rain.
No,
No,
no
it's
rain on
not.
Saturday.
John promised me.
Yeah,
Thanks, Trish.
it's gonna be fun. Thank you.
Okay, thank you guys very much.
Thank
All
you.
right, thank
Good
you.
night.
Guys, have a good
Good
night.
night.
Good night.